for a free consultation and a guaranteed solution. 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good Friday morning, freedom lovers. Good morning, Friday, freedom lovers. Freedom loving Kenny Williams. How are you, baby?
Good morning, Vic Porcelli.
All right. Big time Friday show today, as always. We're going to start off with an examination of Joe Biden's comments about the campus protests yesterday. Yeah. It was actually happening while we were on yesterday, and we just got messed up with the technology, but we'll play some of that for you today, the most stupid and disgusting parts of what he said yesterday. Thom Wellington from Wellington Environmental is going to join us today. I had no idea how much work Thom does with the Salvation Army. So, see, Wellington Environmental, a big sponsor of the Larry Connors USA show, 6 to 8 o'clock. And again, people that we talk about here on the air doing good things for the community.
I love it, yeah.
Like Jen Wallner and her great Angels Arms Foundation, Right. I mean, we steer you to good people. We wouldn't steer you to douchebags. That just wouldn't be right, Ken.
No, that's, I think, part of our motto on this show.
No douchebags.
No,
well,
right.
For the most part. Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State at 9:41. Susie Moore will join us. When we talk to Susie, there's so much stuff to talk about. She's a deputy managing editor at Red State, and she writes a lot of stories for Red State. And
she's a lawyer.
And she's a lawyer. And we want to ask her some lawyer questions and about this anti-apartheid legislation that went through the House, making it a crime to, say anti-Semitic things. And we'll let Susie describe it, but it's a First Amendment issue again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing. And the Wheel of Audio Clips at 10:41. All right, Kenny, who leads us today in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, Vic, from the Show Me Institute, Susan Pendergrass.
Oh, Dr. Pendergrass, go right ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One nation, under God. And to the republic, not to the democracy.
To the republic.
The song is not the battle hymn of the democracy.
No.
Right? Okay, so let's get right into it, Ken. No messing around here. Let's go. Yesterday, Joe Biden finally, by the way, I'm sorry, here I go again, with being a dog. Squirrel! My friend Grant said you have to go back and listen to the Dan Bongino podcast from yesterday, not the show from 11 to 2, but the podcast that's about an hour. And it's on camera. I really like watching him, and I really like watching him cuss, man. Holy cow. The title of the show is Chaos Erupts as Biden Sits on His Ass, just to give you a little indication of what's in this whole thing. It was a great podcast, so Grant, thanks for that.
And what I like about that title is that it's ongoing. I mean, it's not, it's like it didn't happen and it's over now. It's ongoing chaos, and he's still sitting on his ass.
Finally, he made some kind of statement yesterday, which they might as well not even have him come out and say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, what's worse right now if you're on his team? Him not saying anything or him coming out and saying stupid stuff?
Well, from my perspective internationally, I would say have him shut up, because what's happening like in Italy and Australia and other countries, they're actually doing mocking little skits like Saturday Night Live skits of Joe Biden fumbling and dumbling his way through the presidency. So, and it really looks bad for our country.
Obviously, it's not just us looking at him. And when we say, Ken, that he looks so weak to the rest of the world, there's your answer. There's your answer right there.
There it is right there, yeah.
Other foreign countries doing sketches about how stupid he is. That is the image of strength that we are now portraying to the rest of the world.
So when John Kirby or Karine Jean-Pierre read from her book about how strong America looks with Joe Biden in the helm around the world, all we have to do is just play those skits.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Joe did come out and he said something. Whether it was scripted or not, either way is bad, because if it was scripted, wow, who crafted this message? If it was not scripted, wow, why did he go off script and say these things?
Yeah.
One or the other. So here's what he had to say.
I want to make it absolutely clear, something very clear about all of this. Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting. None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple.
So,
hold on, Vic, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm writing rioting,
looting, setting fires.
So, the setting fires I forgot about.
So he's talking about 2020 Summer of Love, I guess, right?
Yes.
The Black Lives Matter George Floyd protests, right?
It has to be when Kamala Harris bailed out those people.
He just indicted that entire movement in, how long was that? 15 seconds?
Yeah.
He just indicted their entire movement, okay? Because during the summer of 2020, there was rioting, there was looting, and there clearly was fires, right?
Yeah, right.
Everything was on fire. And that, I'm sorry, play it again. I was busy writing down the three things that go ahead, do it again.
I want to make it absolutely clear, something very clear about all of this. Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting.
So there you go. Rioting, looting, and setting fires is not protesting.
Right.
So am I the only one saying this morning? That he's talking about the Black Lives Matter riots?
BLM, you mean? Yeah.
Sorry.
That's exactly. No, I
get it. I so get you. You have no idea. I just slipped up there. Ken does not like me using the phrase Black Lives Matter. He likes BLM. And I agree. I just forget sometimes. I know you're shocked. But BLM sounds more like a, PLO.
Right.
Terrorist organization that it is.
Black Lives do matter.
And Black Lives do matter.
So,
yeah. Brilliant, Kenny. Brilliant.
BLM,
Absolutely.
BLM,
so
yeah.
I thought it was absolutely crazy that he said everything that happened in the summer of 2020, that, like you said, Kamala Harris wanted to bail them out.
Maxine Waters said, you need to get in their face. You need to protest. You need to do these things, stoking exactly what they say Trump is going to do in 2024. They did it back in 2020.
And Maxine Waters said even at a gasoline station. So
Right.
Who says gasoline station?
Right.
Do me a favor.
People who don't go there.
Right. Put into this gasoline station.
And then Nancy Pelosi, she's saying that, there need to be more of these. I'm surprised there aren't more.
They got a nerve, man, I'm telling you. Now, don't get me wrong. What's going on now, the rioting, the looting, the setting fires, is the same thing. And that is, he's right, is not protesting. Okay? That is causing unrest. And that's not good. It's not okay.
No, right.
But at least have the guts to say, rioting, looting, setting fires, not protest, like they did back in 2020. That's not good either. But he didn't.
No.
So it's who's protesting, it's who's rioting, it's who's looting, and who's setting fires, whether it's protesting or not. Because this statement that he said should have been given back then in 2020.
And understand this, Joe Biden is elected again, and if there is more of it, he'll try and tamp it down, but it's still not going to be the same. If Trump is elected president, there's going to be more of this, and I'm just estimating just my own skepticism with the situation at hand and who's organizing all of this. Trump is elected in November, more of this is going to happen, and you're not going to hear a word from the Democrat Party that it is bad.
Yep. And I just, I just can't believe that nobody's seeing this. I really would love to be able to hear every conservative radio show today, to see who's saying this.
Yeah.
That what he's saying, yes, absolutely relates to what's happening now on college campuses, But damn it, it also relates exactly to what happened with the BLM riots.
And is there a what do they call that when it has a sundown? It has a the crimes. Do they have a
expunged? Are they expunged?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, you know, all the stuff that happened, billions of dollars was lost. People were murdered.
Mm-hmm. It's
so
okay, it's BLM. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I said that right off the bat today, because it all makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that Joe Biden is even in the White House. I don't even want to say he's president, because he's not. You know, they called Donald Trump an illegitimate president. I don't even give him that much credit, Joe Biden, that much credit.
No.
He's not president. He's not president.
He's an installed resident. That's what he is. And I think, here I am again, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, but I think it's coming out now. More and more people are actually saying this, Vic, that Obama is behind the Biden administration.
Yep.
I've been saying it from the beginning, and you've been saying it.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, we have an election in how many months? What are we in now?
I think we're in 6.5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6 months. 6 months. We're half a year away.
Yeah.
From the presidential elections, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the color and the water word together. I'm not going to say it, but everything that's happening, if it's not, then I really don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. I know kind of what's going on, but I don't know how to do anything about it. And somebody needs to do something about it.
I know what you're trying to say, and you're right. I mean, historically, from the time I can even remember following politics, if an economy was even half or a third this bad, president's out. The incumbent is out. He's not even considered. He's in trouble. He's voted out of office. Now, it's almost like the world's flipped upside down. You had Trump with a great economy, and he is somehow, mysteriously, by 81 million votes, Joe Biden wins when he didn't even campaign.
All right, do me a favor.
Yeah.
You know those funny things you play, the Biden things that you play? Pick anyone at random. Pick anyone that you like. I'm thinking about 50 years from now, right? When a teacher is saying, well, let's hear some of our presidents throughout history. And she plays Kennedy saying, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Right.
Play Reagan saying the 9 most scariest words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Donald Trump, make America great again. And then let's hear the president from 2020, 2021 to 2024.
Now, even as we evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships, let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
The kids are going to go, what? I mean, compare that to the 3 quotes we just talked about, to Kennedy, to Reagan, to Trump. And he says, yeah, hiking with Xi Jinping with our backpacks and our sippy cups through 16,000 miles. Or is it 17? 17,000 miles? I know it was a long hike.
Now, one thing he did say that I hope people do remember.
If that's what his wish.
Now, I don't know what it means, but I know what whoosh means. And that means
whoosh, my brother.
It could be like ciao. It could be like
could be
aloha.
Like, shalom.
Shalom.
Right? Yeah. It's a hello or a goodbye in Vic Head language. And just for kicks, can we play? Because this was yesterday. Number one, he said yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Good.
And teaching is not what you do. It's who you are. It's who you are. No, for real. I know that. Believe me, I know that. By the way, I actually taught for a number of years in law school. And then I was a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. No, I don't got to applaud that.
You don't have to applaud, he said, or say something about applause.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, because nobody did.
Oh,
So
okay.
Kenny and I talked about this clip last night, and Kenny's like, I don't know what he's talking about. But listen again, he says something about applause, and then that's when they clap and crack up.
They start cracking up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I understand if he said something funny, but I just can't make it out.
Well, he didn't say something funny. He said something that's not true. He was never a professor at the University of Pennsylvania or any other university or high school or grade school or preschool.
Well, he was He was paid $1 million to become an honorary professor at Penn.
But he never actually sat in a classroom.
Never sat one day.
Okay.
No, I don't got applaud that.
Say it was something about applause.
Okay.
And because then everybody started clapping.
I'm glad you could hear that because I was really bothered by that the whole night.
You got to push the headphones into your ears so your hearing goes away a little bit more than it already has. So I guess my point is this, and somebody with a bigger audience than this show has. I know this audience is pretty big, but somebody on a national level needs to say what we said today, that rioting and looting and setting fires are not protesting, and we need to hold BLM accountable for what they did in 2020, since the statute of limitations doesn't seem to matter anymore.
And I totally agree with you, but for a little bit different reason, because I believe that it's going to happen again if Trump wins this election.
Yeah.
So
something that you and Dan Bongino have both said is that it's going to get worse, the rioting, because the Democratic National Convention is in Chicago.
Yeah.
If you remember the 1968 convention in Chicago,
and they're angry there.
Pretty violent.
Well, they're pissed right there. I mean, think about this. Chicago, more than almost any other city besides New York, is being hit with immigration flooding, and their funding is going down the drain, using it on illegal aliens, and the population that's there now, even especially the lower income population that have needed help for years, but only get it every 4 years from the Democrats, a little bit of it, aren't even getting any of it now.
Or they get, like Bulworth. We were talking about the movie Bulworth.
There it is, yeah.
When he goes to the black church. How about, wait, you said you were going to come and help us in this. And he said, yeah, we just said that to you. We said what you wanted to hear, and then we didn't think about you again. So true.
Yep.
So true. All right. I had to get that out first today because I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned that he didn't realize what he was doing, and maybe nobody around him even realized what he was doing because they all thought what happened with BLM was just fine.
That's fine, yeah.
That's got to be it.
Antifa, no big deal.
Oh, my God.
They're the militant. BLM and Antifa, know this. BLM and Antifa are the militant wing of the Democrat Fascist Party, and they're going to be using them again this year.
Right. And just very quickly, last night on the Greg Gutfeld show, they stole our Taco Bell thing from yesterday.
They did.
The intifada.
Intifada.
Greg said it sounds like something you get at Taco Bell, which is what somebody in our chat box said yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. It was
All
so
right.
funny. With cheese.
I like the hot sauce.
Oh, yeah. With the intifada? Oh, my goodness.
Intifada burrito. Okay. So this show is set up as a podcast when we're done. And you can go back and you can listen.
Wish.
Sorry. My bad. I should have been listening for that. And you can listen to the show again. Or we invite you to watch, the Rumble show or the Facebook show, same show. And you don't want to miss all this handsomeness here. Why would you just want to listen? God, all the handsomeness. Thom Wellington from Wellington Environmental, who does a lot of work with the Salvation Army. How about that? He's next on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
My grandfather, Finnegan Scamp, would really be proud of me right now. If they have to pay out $159 billion less.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I can't do it anymore. No, can't do it.
You can.
Okay. So, we were talking about Thom Wellington. He does some great work with the Salvation Army, and the example that I gave you, because we send you to people who are very trustworthy and very just good, conscientious, community-minded people. And Jen Wallner and Rodney Wallner are those people, too. They are the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. And the great work that they do is one thing. And then Jen has this Angel's Arms Foundation about foster kids, because Jen Wallner was a foster kid, and she was taken out of a bad situation and put into a worse situation. And she still managed to be where she is, a great wife, a great mom, and a great realtor. The Wallner Home Selling Team will help you sell your home and great flexible commission plans too. Approved home buyers lined up around the block, which will make your house a lot easier to sell. And also, they sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. No obligation, no long-term contracts. They're in Missouri and Illinois. You want that home sold? Go to the Wallner Home Selling Team, Rodney and Jen Wallner. Call them at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Steph's Pizza is on the move to Lake St. Louis. That's right, you can now get the legendary Steph's Pizza and Pasta in Lake St. Louis, 111 Pond Fort Trail. Steph's Pizza, where Mondays you get a large pizza for the price of a small, and it just got more convenient for pickup or delivery in Lake St. Louis. Steph's Pizza in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road, in St. Peter's on Jungerman, and now in Lake St. Louis at 111 Pond Fort Trail. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com. Tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
On News Talk STL.
Good morning and welcome to it. 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk. Ken, what you have to remind us from what day we have. You haven't told us what day it is today yet, have you?
Oh, I haven't.
Well, do it, man.
It's Friday.
That's the cool thing about this station. A guy as important as Tim Jones, right? Currently the director of the Freedom Caucus in Missouri and the former Speaker of the House. Afternoon guy here, and he's still fun enough to say it's Friday. Right? That's cool stuff. All right, our next guest is filling in for Larry Connors. Hi, Tom.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Thom Wellington from Wellington Environmental. You know, I hear Larry talk about all this stuff. The current thing he's running is I can't remember
pigeons.
Say it again. No, it's not the pigeons one.
I heard that one.
Oh, yeah. The vermiculite.
Yeah. Now, what is that exactly?
Well, it's a type of insulation that's found in the attics, and it's very similar. It looks like kitty litter, and it was put in the 40s and the 50s and early 60s. W.R. Grace manufactured it in Libby, Montana, but it contains asbestos. So there's a trust fund that's been set up that pays to help remove it and to re-insulate your attics.
So there's new insulation now without any dangerous chemicals.
Yeah.
What kind is that? Is that the Pink Panther one or not?
Well, you know what it is. You can use fiberglass, mineral wool, or any of those kind of materials that, and nowadays even have ones that are fireproof and insect resistant.
Insect resistant.
Yeah. Now you mentioned my house was built in '43, and I've got what it looks like it could be mica or whatever vermiculite.
Yes.
How do I know if it has? Do they all have that asbestos, or do you have to figure out a way to
good question
to determine it?
Well, unfortunately, when Grace was mining this mica-like material in that mine in Libby, they found out that tremolite type of asbestos had veins that traveled through the open pit mines, and so you never know which bags had the asbestos in it.
Wow.
So currently the EPA states, hey, we're just going to consider it all asbestos, because you could take 100 tests in the attic and find one that's hot, or vice versa, 99 that are hot and one that isn't.
So if you have one that's hot, do you have to do them all just out of precautionary?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. We don't even test it anymore.
Oh.
We just consider
just take them out, put in new ones.
Yeah.
All right. So if somebody does have a question like Ken asked, how do I know? How do we get in touch with you?
It's easy enough. 314-644-4930 or environmentalcare.com.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Of course, we'll do it again at the end here, but I want to get into all the great work you do because, with what Ken and I do, we talk about politics, right? We talk about conservative thinking, life through a conservative lens. We look at Joe Biden and say, oh, my God, what have we done? And we also talk about people's businesses. Before you walked in, I just talked about Rodney and Jen Wallner, great realtors, but they're also great people, too. Jen has her Angel Arms Foundation because she was a foster kid, and she was in a terrible situation. She got taken out of that terrible situation and put in a worse situation. But look at her, right? So steering people towards good people is what we like to do, and you're one of those good people. So tell us what you're doing with the Salvation Army.
Well, this is kind of an interesting story. I'm relatively new to the board of the Gateway Citadel Salvation Army branch, and I've been on the board at the larger one here in Midtown. But Vic Ballinger, a great leader, said he practically put me in a headlock and said, "You're going to go down to the Gateway Citadel, and we're going to help these two young captains that we have here." Captain Matt and Marissa McClure that run this facility. And it's like running a business down there. And unfortunately, I sat through a meeting in February where they presented the results of, that Christmas.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
the kettle ringing that we
I
do
I was
at
walking
Christmas.
out of Target when you rang that bell.
Yeah, and I did it last year, and I had a blast. We did it at the Bass Pro Shop. What a fun thing. But they presented the results, and the results really kind of hit me in the face, and we had a terrible year. And these people, Matt, Marissa, and their assistant, Paul, they run an organization that I see firsthand that does a lot of good in St. Louis. People come in that haven't had showers, they have no place to go, have
hungry,
no
probably.
money. A lot of really good things that they do. These are young people, a handsome group that does a great job. And I thought, I was sitting around Saturday morning one day after that meeting, and I thought, I can help. And so the idea came to me was let's start an operation that we can increase not only by a little bit, but let's double what we did last year. And so we call it Operation Kettle Clatter. And the whole idea behind Operation Kettle Clatter is to get people involved that'll come out and ring. We had a lot of locations, Deerberg, Schnucks, Bass Pro Shop, a lot of great places, but we didn't have anybody ringing bells.
Yeah.
So Paula mentioned during one meeting that she had contacted some realtors, and I have a database of about 7,000 realtors,
Wow.
commercial and residential, that I do business with. And I thought, wow, I can contact these people. Let's get them out. If we can get, so we came up with an idea with Operation Kettle Clatter. If we can get 8 people, that's 8 hours of ringing. So if it's 8 people or if it's 4 people ringing 2 hours, I'm going to give them a free sign that has their logo on it.
Oh.
We could do that for your station too.
Right.
If we get 8 people that sign up to ring the bells for just 8 hours, we're going to give them some free advertising on the top of the bell ringing sign.
All right.
Make it a little bit of fun. And you know what? And I think when people are having fun ringing the bell, more people stop and contribute. And rather than seeing somebody that's not very excited about ringing the bell.
Or somebody who can entertain rather than really be in somebody's face and make it uncomfortable, because that's no good either.
And being happy.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
Exactly.
So the whole idea is let's give them some advertising. And, everybody's hungry for social media. So now we've got an opportunity. They can take their pictures in front of the sign. Hey, I'm doing something.
And post them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing something good at Christmas. And it's a great way to post that on social media. So we're going to see how this works out.
Vic, do you remember when we worked at the River, 101 The River together, and we did that before.
Yes, we did.
Bell rang.
We all bell rang.
And you guys probably had a blast.
Oh, we had yeah.
You know what? We tried to make it fun. The Salvation Army bell ringing. And do you remember when we did the old newspaper boy thing?
Yeah, old newsboy.
Oh my God, that was so much fun because of course, I love history. I love how the world was back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. So when I did it, I had to go extra. Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs. Because that's what it was.
Oh, my wife loves doing that with an old newsboys.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
all right. So getting back to the bell ringing, it's May, and you guys are
right.
thinking about Christmas already. I think it's great because, listen, taxes are so bad right now. when people's taxes are lowered, like Donald Trump did, people donate more. Duh, right? So how are charities supposed to make any money when Biden's taxing the hell out of people?
Oh, I know. And then they're thinking of rescinding that one Trump's
going to expire.
Well, not thinking about it. If Joe Biden is elected again in, I think it's in March or April, that he's going to be getting rid of that permanently, he said.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we make this a fun thing, and not only do we win as a Salvation Army, but the people that contribute their hours to do something good, they win too because they get a little free advertising.
Yeah,
it's fun. So
now I want to also include, if people need the services of the Salvation Army, what should they do?
Yeah, it's amazing contacting the Salvation Army, and I've seen firsthand because I've worked at quite a few of the different facilities, and the things that they do, I had no idea how much good they actually do in the St. Louis and in the world. Ray Kroc's wife, the Ray Kroc that started McDonald's, she's invested millions in the Salvation Army and does a great job. She's built these new centers all over the country that have athletic events and have swimming pools, all kinds of great things. But the people that really need it, we need to raise that money to make sure we get the services that they need. I've seen people come in that are completely broke and walk in and they're in tears, and it really tugs at your heart, and the Salvation Army helps them.
Maybe I don't think I worded the question right. If people need the services of, if they are broke, if they do need the Salvation Army, how do they, because you say call them, well, they might not have a phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the website. I don't have any internet access. How do people find the Salvation Army who need help?
Yeah, well, luckily we're in a lot of different areas of St. Louis, and they can, if they can't get online or they can't get on the phone, local agencies that they may already attend that do work for the government can also issue them information on how to get to the Salvation Army.
Just a thought, I would hope that every municipality in the state of Missouri has at least a way to contact the Salvation Army, so somebody who is homeless or needs it can walk into the local police department and say, hey, can you get me in touch with the Salvation Army?
And that's a great thing, Vic. You're 100% right, because I have seen police bring people over.
Yeah.
And they do. And some of the psychological help places also do the same thing, the hospitals.
Right,
So-
walk into a hospital. Right, where's the Salvation Army?
Yeah.
Great. All right, Tom, before we wrap it up,
Thank you.
Wellington Environmental, do you guys do, like, if your basement floods, you come in and take out the carpeting and all that stuff and the mold?
We do take out the carpeting and the mold. We're not so much a water restoration company, but we usually come in afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So make sure everything's clean and the house is safe for everybody inside.
Well, that's good to know, too.
Yeah.
All right, Thom Wellington, it's been great to have you in.
Hey.
Yeah, give it a
Thank
ring.
you.
Oh,
Thank you.
By the way, Tom brought gifts for me and Ken. So let me just open that up and see what this is. Wow. Look at this. Is one a pen? And what is this, a letter opener?
Letter opener, yes.
This
Awesome.
is what Hillary stabs people
Yeah, don't
with.
go through TSA with that.
No, we won't.
No.
Thank you.
What's this, Mrs. Clinton? Oh, it's my letter opener. Thom Wellington from Wellington Environmental. It's great to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
for coming.
Tom.
Thank you.
Sorry, I screwed up the name 5 times in one interview. All right, Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State, is next. All those signatures from the people who come up to you at Walmart and Target and say, hey, would you like to sign a petition for women's reproductive health? Those signatures are due today or tomorrow, I think. So we'll ask them about that. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Now more than ever, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
We squeeze in a dry hump day under partly sunny skies.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Hey, St. Louis, my name is Rob Carter. If you are sick and tired of the corporate news bubble, if you like unedited information free from corporate money, if you want straight talk with no script, join me weeknights from 8 to 10 p.m. on The Rob Carter Show.
Live and local weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hi, this is Jane Pushkar from the Francis House School Board, and you're lucky today because you are listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
I love her.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Jane Pushkar? If you don't like Jane Pushkar, you better look in the mirror and find out what's wrong with yourself. Right?
Right.
Okay. Wheel of audio clips at 10:41 today. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at RedState.com, and right now it's our Missouri Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft. Good morning, Mr. Secretary. Happy birthday!
Good morning. Happy birthday. Happy
birthday. All right. This morning, the morning show was talking about, so, when we talk about IP, right, initiative, petition, people that fraudulently stood out in front of Walmarts and Targets and said, hey, would you like to sign the petition for women's reproductive health? They never used the word abortion. Now, those signatures on that petition, they're due like today or tomorrow or Monday. Is that right?
Yes, I will announce on your show that those signatures have been delivered to our office this morning as of about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Those boxes of signatures were delivered. You're the first with that info.
Perfect. So what's the process now? You count all the signatures? Is there any way to verify the signatures?
Yeah, what we've done is we've really digitized the process a lot. It used to be we would just photocopy every page of signatures and then mail those out to local election authorities to check the signatures to verify them. We now, as soon as they're brought in, we use some high-speed scanners to digitize every one of those petition sheets. We lock up the originals in a room that has 2 locks with 2 different keys necessary, and nobody has both keys. And then we send those signatures out generally to local election authorities to check to see if those are actually registered voters in the state of Missouri, to find any duplicates. So you only get to be counted once if you sign an initiative petition. And then, of course, to see if they have the requisite number to put something on the ballot. It is a long process, but our office has started that as soon as those signatures were turned in.
Now, you bring up something that I didn't think of. If you're in town from New Jersey visiting your friends in Missouri, you're not allowed to sign that, or your signature doesn't count, right?
Your signature is invalid. You must be a registered voter of the state of Missouri.
Okay.
That's
and
great.
And this brings us to IP reform, initiative petition reform. We're so close. We had Tim Jones on Wednesday, and he says we're so close to getting that passed. Do you know any more you can tell us about it?
I know that there was a big filibuster this week. They got FRA passed by the Senate. So now we have the budget, and I believe that the only other, what I would call big item, unfortunately, is initiative petition reform. I was really hoping there'd be some election reform and some tax cuts. But it looks like IP reform has a chance, but people of the state need to keep reaching out to their legislators. We've been close before. I've been working on this since November of 2016, and we've had heartbreak before, so we need to keep pushing.
So as far as raising taxes, lowering taxes, we just had Thom Wellington in right before you. He runs Wellington Environmental. He also does a lot of work with the Salvation Army. And
good for him.
Yeah, but you know what he said? Donations are down. I wonder why. People can't keep any of their own money. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that if the lower the taxes, the more people donate to charitable organizations.
Well, and, people just don't have extra money these days because of what's happened with inflation. I mean, prices are skyrocketing. It's so bad that Joe Biden has really quit talking about Bidenomics, because even he realizes, or at least they put on this teleprompter for him to try to fight out, that it's not working and that it's terrible for the people of this country.
There's so many things that he stopped talking about that aren't working. I don't know what he can even get on and say in a positive light for anything he's doing. All right. All right, we did taxation. Let's go. Let's talk about education. There was a student who was suspended for using the term illegal alien in a vocabulary quiz. Now, okay, I get it. They wanted him to probably say undocumented
migrant
or something like that.
Newcomer.
But, okay, so mark a -2 on his test, but to suspend the kid for that, really?
Well, he shouldn't be suspended. He should have not had any sort of discipline for that. That's the truth of the matter. They are here illegally. They come here illegally. The legal term is illegal alien. It is the school forcing their political idiocy on our kids. That should not happen. That's why we need in Missouri to make sure that parents are in charge of the money for their kids' education, and parents can decide where their kids go. And if schools don't educate their kids, if they don't treat their kids correctly, if they try to indoctrinate them instead of doing reading, writing, and arithmetic, they can take their kids out of that school and move them to a better place.
The kid should have gotten extra credit for that.
Yeah, he should have. So what's the repercussions for the school system for suspending the kid? Nothing?
I don't know the law there, but frequently the repercussions are zero. One of the things that I worked on the Parents' Bill of Rights a year ago with Andrew Koenig, unfortunately it didn't get across the finish line, would have allowed parents to sue the school and the administrator or teacher specifically if they intentionally violated a child's rights like that. We need to hold people accountable instead of just making the taxpayers pay when elected officials intentionally do things incorrectly.
Okay. We talked about the budget. How about FRA? Did we talk about that yet? I don't think we talked about that yet.
We did not. That is about $4 billion to the state budget dealing with medical costs. That's what was being filibustered this past week. That did pass the Senate, so hopefully that opens up the way to get the budget done, although I really hope they can cut some of that spending. It's ridiculous how they've made it even bigger this year.
Yeah. And we talked to Brenda Talent last Monday, I think, about the budget, and it's just ridiculous. All right, the abortion bill is on Governor Parsons' desk. What's going to happen there? What's your take?
I would assume he would sign it, but I don't understand why he hasn't signed it. A lot of the difficulty with the filibuster this past week was caused by the fact that he had not signed it. And, if I were governor, I would have, the day that was passed by both chambers, I would have said, march it down to my office. Let's sign it now.
Yeah,
I don't understand why anybody would want to delay signing a bill that would cut off your tax dollars from going to Planned Parenthood.
Yep, I completely agree. Okay, let's talk about a couple of national things. Donald Trump's in court, in the coldest courtroom in America, apparently, and he's got a gag order. Only he has a gag order, and I believe the gag order is not supposed to be for the defendant. It's supposed to be for the prosecution side. Isn't that right?
I think that what's happening with that gag order is just inherently unconstitutional. It's wrong. It shows us once again that there's multiple standards of, quote, justice. And I say that somewhat lightly because what he's getting is not justice. But it's just unbelievable that in America, he would be tried. His detractors would be able to say whatever they want to say, publish whatever they want to say, and he's not allowed to defend himself.
Right.
Good news is he's still going to beat crooked Joe Biden.
Well, I hope so. Now, yesterday, right, after court got out yesterday, he went outside and he bought pizza for the firefighters who were out there. He had like boxes of pizza that he was given to them, and one of them said, "Save us, please."
Well, I mean, there is the idea that it would be difficult to choose between the guy that sniffs little girls and the guy that stands up for Americans, that loves America and wants to stand up to make sure that everyone in America can be the best that God has made them to be. It should be it's just, that's an easy button thing. And it's just natural that they would support him because he has supported the people of America. They saw it when he was president for 4 years, and any reasonable person is yearning to get back to years like that as of January of next year.
Isn't it funny that none of the firefighters or cops are on the jury on this trial? Huh? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's just, quote, coincidence.
Yeah, right. Okay, so these protests on college campuses, you can't call it a peaceful protest as soon as there's one moment of violence. There's been plenty of moments of violence. I don't know. I mean, when you're a Jew in this country, you shouldn't have to feel like the Jews in Germany in the 1930s, and I fear that some of the Jews in this country do.
It's horrendous. It is something that we should all be able to just condemn in the strongest terms. Any student that's out there supporting the terrorist organization that is their goal is to kill every individual that is a Jew, that's abhorrent.
Yeah.
They are holding Jewish citizens hostage. They are holding American citizens hostage. When they are told to disperse and they don't, they ought to all be arrested and they ought to be thrown out of their university, and that proves that those places are not institutions of higher education because they are not teaching those kids to think.
Yeah, it's crazy that the faculty are just as to blame as some of the students. But how about those frat boys that saved that American flag, huh?
That was awesome. That gives me hope for America to see that people will act in that way, and we need more of that. Unfortunately, that's what it takes. Good triumphs. It's just enough for good to triumph. It's good, or for bad to triumph if good people don't do anything. But seeing good people stand up, that pushes back and that encourages other people to stand up also.
Yeah, that happening just gave me chills.
And John Rich is going to do a free concert for those kids.
That's great.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. All right, so big game for the Battlehawks this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think they've scored the most points out of anybody in the UFL, so I'm looking for.
They kicked some tail.
I'm looking for a championship out of them this year because God knows we need a champion in this city. How's the campaign going, Mr. Secretary?
Hey, the campaign's going great. We're just over 3 months away, under 100 days. We're going to see some changes in Missouri, and people are going to see true freedom and what the United States can be like and how Missouri can lead the way. I'm so excited for January of next year.
Fantastic. Campaign website?
AshcroftForMissouri.com or Ashcroft for Missouri on Facebook.
Perfect. Mr. Secretary, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
You too. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Boy, he's got a lot of stuff on his plate.
Yeah, he does. It's great.
I mean, it's like everything we talk about in a week is all everything as far as the Missouri stories and some of the national stories he's got on his plate.
And there's a lot with his candidacy going on, and I've seen some other candidates, talk about the issues of today, but they have a big smile, and some of them have a big smile on their face, and they're like, "Yeah, and we're going to take care of this." He just has this sense of urgency that I like.
He does,
and that's just one of the things that I like about a candidate. They own it. They basically feel what this country needs, and they're going to try and take care of it.
All right, chat box.
Yeah,
you pick Rumble or Facebook.
I say Rumble.
Rumble today starts with Duke, who says, "Good morning, all Patriot Vic Heads." Mr. Stoit says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. No fair election.
No peace.
No fair election.
No peace."
He also says it's Friday. Happy birthday. Hi, Vic. Hi, Ken. Hi, all you MAGA. You beautiful
It's
MAGA
Friday.
people. Yeah. And then he writes, Joe, please be clear with the stuff we played from Biden before. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and all of the protesters should be arrested and put on the list of terrorists and no fly and all that stuff.
I totally agree with that.
Use radio stations as well as realtors. They would be so fun ringing the bells. Oh, you bet. You want to ring the bells this Christmas, Kenny?
Absolutely. In fact, I threw it out there. I think I did it on Facebook, though. I should do it on Rumble as well. But I would like to ask our listeners to
come join us. Yeah.
And be a part of it, too.
We can have some fun. Can you imagine Kenny and me?
Be great.
And shoppers coming up? Because sometimes they get a little in your face, those people. You know what I mean? They make you feel like guilty.
Right.
That you're not. Sometimes I literally have not a dime on me. I mean, this cashless society that we're in right now.
Right.
And it's like, hey, the money? I don't have any money. Oh, well, we'll take a check. Okay, well, I'll catch you on the way out, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say sometimes. All right, good Friday morning from Tom. Good morning, it's Friday. I don't know what to do with Scooter. He said, I see Ms. Gordon Bramer's name on your banner. Are you going to replay her segment from yesterday? Why would we do that? You know what, Scooter? Let us do the show. Put in the chat box your occupation one of these days.
I like Scooter.
No, I know, but I want to help him with his occupation since he seems so destined to help us in our occupation. We got it, Scooter, okay? Dave says BLM sounds like a bacon, lettuce, and mayonnaise sandwich sometimes.
Yeah, well.
A half a sandwich.
They need to be disarmed, so that's a good way to do it.
BLM is a terrorist organization. GMVH, save our country and vote Trump. You bet. I love when you guys go in the chat box, but when you do it when I'm talking, it jumps around. Here, Barry Biggs said I almost fell off my chair last night when Gutfeld stole my joke about Taco Bell. I guess his comedy writers are monitoring your chat box.
Oh, Barry, you might be onto something.
Hey, Bongino steals all our stuff, Yeah, Amy said she heard it too. She was laughing. Looks like abortion will be on the ballot in November. Scooter, shut up. God. Totally. When and where?
You know what I would say about that abortion thing? It will be on the ballot, but I don't know if anybody knows this, but there are a lot of people that are against abortion.
Yeah.
As much, when you first hear, abortion's on the, it's going to be a part of the conversation. Well, you know what? There are a lot of people that are going to be in that conversation that don't want abortion.
And what you're saying is, if it is a referendum, people in Missouri will vote the right way, right?
Right.
Let's take some time out. We'll be right back on 101.9, 94.1, News Talk STL. Hi there.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo for the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Zero Res knows there's nothing more important than the health of your family, and the health of your home has a direct impact on that, and that's why they have this great offer for the month of May. Book a cleaning now and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Keep your home clean and healthy with the pros at Zero Res. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
So we finally got the parts for the time machine.
Classic Kicks Country is streaming now. Hear all your new country favorites from the 90s. Streaming as it happened in the 90s. Classic Kicks. Download the Classic Kicks app from the App Store. Online at ClassicKicks.com. Or enable the Classic Kicks skill on Alexa. 90s new country streaming now.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. That's 800-240-4586.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason.
More protest encampments cleared from college campuses. This morning, the NYPD moved in and moved out anti-Israel demonstrators at New York University and the New School as violent pro-Hamas demonstrators continue clashing with police on college campuses nationwide. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the chaos must end. In an interview with the Salem Radio Network, Johnson says the chaos needs to end at America's universities.
You know, chaos and anarchy are not American values, and what's happening on these university campuses is outrageous. It's dangerous. You've seen it result and devolve into violence. It must be stopped, and these administrators have allowed this to descend into chaos. They need to lose their jobs, and we have to bring order to the chaos, and Congress will do it.
Speaker Johnson's full interview will be heard on his weekly news program this week on the Hill, tomorrow morning on the Salem News Channel, and on radio stations nationwide. Hiring tumbled last month, just 175,000 new jobs, down from 315,000 in March. Wall Street stocks are soaring, though, in hopes that this will help to convince the Fed to cut interest rates later in the year. Former President Trump says the economy is bad, and now it's starting to show. President Biden insisting the economy is in recovery mode. Well, you can get there from here, but it will take extra time and effort. I-95 is closed at Norwalk, Connecticut, the result of a fiery crash that damaged a bridge.
Stay away from that area. We've given a notice to all the trucking companies and others. Take I-87 if you can, or I-84 as alternatives. I-84 is an alternative. Rail is going, or good day to work from home.
Governor Ned Lamont heard on the Connecticut network. And watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 335 points. NASDAQ ahead 273. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is a red alert for hard-working Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our election protection report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our election protection report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and date. This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Slow clearing trend today in the wake of some soaking rain late yesterday and overnight. Not as warm this go around, but still warmer than normal. Count on highs in the mid to upper 70s this afternoon. We'll be mostly clear tonight. Little patchy fog possible. 62 for the overnight low. Now, most of your Saturday will be dry, but watch for a quick hit of some potentially strong storms from the late afternoon into the evening. It's warmer again tomorrow with a high of 84. Another chance of some showers late Sunday. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Yeah, on a Friday, 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL. Number 1 for live and local conservative talk. I'm Vic Porcelli. That guy there, hey, that handsome guy on the other side there, that's Ken Williams. And he makes everything sound great. We have the Wheel of Audio clips coming up at 10:41. And Ken, I think there's somebody waiting to talk to us right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q.
I'm the boss. How about that?
And I should have listened to Susie more from the beginning. Good morning, Susie Moore. How are you?
Good morning, Vic. I'm well. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So, Susie is the deputy managing editor at redstate.com. Let's talk about a couple of Red State stories that everyone is talking about. First of all, the campus, we can call it rioting now, can't we?
I think that's fair.
I think that's accurate. We talked about this early on in the show. Joe Biden got up on some podium in the White House yesterday and said, rioting is not protesting, looting is not protesting, setting fires is not protesting. Was he talking about the BLM riots back in 2020?
If only, right?
Right?
Yeah, that was one of those rare instances where I was like, okay, that little clip right there, I actually agree with everything on. That's rare, but he had that part right.
Yeah, just talking about the wrong part in history, I guess. So the Trump trial, apparently it's the coldest courtroom in the history of courtrooms.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about that every
Yeah,
time.
that's kind of a regular phenomenon. It seems like when you're in court, you're either too hot or too cold. It's rare that courthouses keep their courtrooms regulated properly, particularly older courthouses like this one.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. So the whole Michael Cohen thing seems to be helping Trump more than helping the prosecution. But you're the lawyer. You tell me.
Well, Cohen obviously hasn't, well, I shouldn't say obviously. He has not been called to testify yet, but he will be. He's kind of the star witness for the prosecution because without him, they can't really make their case. And of course, unfortunately, he has lots of fleas when it comes to his credibility. And so that in and of itself is probably of some assistance to Trump. What Cohen's going to say and do on the stand, we'll have to wait and see. But given some of his antics, it could definitely be interesting, let's say. And then, he's kind of spouting off on social media and giving interviews in the middle of all this. That's not a good thing. He shouldn't be doing it at all. And if I'm Trump's attorneys, I'm definitely going to be raising some of that as, grounds for appeal if there is a conviction.
So, Susie, in court with Michael Cohen, it's a big deal that he's not trusted. It's a big deal that he's a liar, right?
Well,
I mean, I know it's a simplified question, but
it's a great question.
No, but I mean, here's the thing. When you are an attorney putting a witness on the stand, you want, if it's a witness that you're calling because you want to get information from them, you want them to be credible. So if they've got, let's say, a conviction for perjury or fraud, as Michael Cohen does, but in both cases, that makes them a less trustworthy witness, which means the jury is going to, and first of all, that information is going to be in front of the jury. And second, the jury is going to be able to consider whether they feel like the truthiness of that witness's testimony, and they're probably going to find them lacking in those instances.
Yeah. Boy, I agree with that. All right, let's talk about, I'm sorry, the Supreme Court immunity thing could obviously affect this. Do we know when they're going to make their decision?
Well, we don't know for sure. We know that it will be sometime before the end of June or first week of July because that's when they finish doing their decisions. They've got about 40 decisions to crank out, and that's going to be one that's going to be complex, probably lengthy, probably split. And so I suspect it's going to be one of the last ones that comes out, particularly since it was the last one argued.
Yeah.
So this case is going to be over by the time they rule on that. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that if there is some part of this that falls under whatever umbrella that they carve out, that it won't be an issue if this is, if there's a conviction and Trump is appealing. But in terms of the current trial, I mean, I'm going to say this trial is probably going to wrap up around mid-May.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about what's going on right now on campuses around the country. And in particular, Susie, something I heard you and Chris talking about yesterday, which really, intrigued me, the anti-Semitic bill, I guess we can call it, that got through the House. Can you, first of all, explain that bill a little bit, and then we'll get into your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it's an effort to codify the definition of anti-Semitism so that when that is a factor in evaluating, for instance, like whether or not federal funds can be dispersed to an institution, that sort of thing. There's a clear definition of it. I'm concerned about it because I suspect this is one of those instances where a well-intentioned provision is going to end up backfiring. And the reason I say that is because when you have this sort of codified definition of the term, that can be used for good purposes and it can be used for negative purposes. Mm-hmm. And I'm always a little leery of legislation that has to do with speech, basically.
Yeah, of course.
I think the concept of anti-Semitism is abhorrent. I think what we're seeing expressed by many of these individuals is disgusting. Expressing a sentiment shouldn't be illegal. And the sentiment being, antipathy towards Jews. If you're saying, I want to kill you, or you're threatening people, that's a different issue. That
Right.
obviously goes beyond what's protected speech. But I hate the sentiment. I'm really, really leery of the government getting getting more involved and intertwined in defining terms that involve speech. I just feel like this could be something that's going to backfire.
So, I mean, the topic, stop me when I'm wrong, because I know I'll probably be wrong at some point. The topic, I believe, is hate speech, right? And whether anybody wants to believe it or not, I guess hate speech is free speech. But like you said, saying kill the Jews, that's a little bit different.
Well, that also, I'm going to sound like one of those damn university presidents, but that does depend on the context, because if you're just saying the concept, like if you're expressing that sentiment kind of out to the world, that isn't necessarily a threat. It's a disgusting, abhorrent sentiment. If you're like saying it, directing it to people around you, then it could be interpreted as a threat. So that may be context specific. And in terms of the legislation, it's not so much about hate speech as it is about codifying what is and isn't like discrimination under some of the other provisions in the law, so that institutions or organizations that participate in X behavior are no longer eligible for funding, that sort of thing. It's complicated, and it's there's not a clear answer on it, just because instinctively what's being said and expressed is so gross.
Well, would it be so complicated, Susie, if the people they were talking about to kill and murder and get rid of and completely off the face of the earth were black or Irish or Italian?
Great point, Susie.
In the court of public opinion, no, because obviously there are some groups that are more protected than others in terms of people's emotions. But again, if someone makes the comment in general, just randomly, it's disgusting, it's horrible, but it isn't necessarily illegal to just say that. If if it's accompanied with action, or you're directing it like to people's faces, then you're starting to get into like threatening and illegal conduct.
But I think that, in the beginning there, in your answer, which was great, if you just say it, not threatening anybody personally, kill the Jews, right? You said that really truly is covered under free speech. But I'm telling you now, if you went out there and said kill the blacks, they would find a way to put you in jail for it, and you got to admit that they would do that.
I don't agree with that, but that's my lawyer hat talking,
Course,
and
so
I will give another example too. This is going to sound kind of weird and it's less serious, but what's one of the famous lines from Shakespeare? The first thing we do, kill all the lawyers. People express that sentiment a lot, and I don't blame them because we're obnoxious sorts. But just saying that, expressing that sentiment isn't illegal, and regardless of who it's about.
I think I agree with Susie only because you see those feds, the feds that are marching like they're white supremacists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we know they're
front people or whoever they are.
Yeah, we know they're feds, and they say stuff like that, and they don't get arrested, do they? Or do they?
Right. No, well, no, we've never seen them arrested. We've only seen them very, very conveniently trotted out randomly, and then it's like you don't hear anything else about them. Like, who is this group that is so coordinated and all masked up and have their little matching uniforms and look, for all the world like a complete parody? That just kind of come wandering out of U-Haul trucks every so often, marching around town. We don't even know what they supposedly stand for. I mean, they don't do anything. They don't have a presence other than kind of showing up to make a show.
All right. I didn't ask the question very well. Can I rephrase my question, Counselor?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe what I should have said was, maybe it's not illegal, but I feel like there would be different consequences, maybe not in a legal point of view, but more consequences for saying kill the blacks than kill the Jews.
I think that's fair
Thank
because then we're going back to the court of public opinion and, online interactions or even in-person interactions. And that's different than saying whether or not you could be, put in jail for it.
I don't know. You're the lawyer, and that's why we have you on. But I just, some of it. And when he went on and said, rioting, looting, setting fires, did he realize that he was talking about the summer of love? Because they were setting fires, they were looting, they were rioting, but he'll never go back. Like what I thought he would have said was, rioting and looting and setting fires in our protest, like what happened in 2020. But he wouldn't say that.
And what I was trying to say earlier, Vic, is there a statute of limitations on that, Susie? From 2020 and all those things that happened back then?
The destruction and stuff?
The destruction, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like criminal repercussions for the people who participated in it. Yeah, most states have, 2 or 5. Well, it depends on the crime. But there's usually 2 or 5 year statute of limitations on various crimes. 2 to 5
years, wow. And
it depends. It depends on what it is. I mean, some misdemeanors may only have a 2-year statute of limitations. I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the specifics.
Clearly, paying off a whore doesn't have any statute of limitations.
Right. Well, we've made many exceptions in the law and bent it every which way to get after the big bad orange man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm done with that, but I just don't understand how. Some people don't understand just because of who's doing. I know I'm harping on this very badly, but when a certain group of people, and when I say BLM riots, I don't mean particularly black people. There are plenty of white people, in the BLM riots. So I'm not saying it's just black people, but when it was for the cause of BLM, Kamala Harris is going to bail them out. The guys from MSNBC are going to stand literally in front of a burning building and say, well, it's mostly peaceful.
Right.
I don't know. But when it's something else, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Do I am I making any sense whatsoever?
You are making sense. You're pointing out the utter hypocrisy and lack of consistency in the messaging from particularly the left, and you're absolutely right about it. The bottom line is, I will say this. Biden, Richie Torres, there were several Democrats that have been saying this as far as this current unrest is going on, and to the extent that they're saying what's crossing the line and what's not legal, they are right on that. Should they apply it across the board? Yes. Are they going to? Don't hold your breath.
Well, you know what I like about this whole thing? I'm glad Biden said this because when we head toward November, and if it starts happening again, I think the police should jump on them right away.
We're going to jump on it.
Not play this time. Not say, oh, but they've got, they have to vent. They have to vent. They have to get out there and do their thing. No, the police should stop them immediately.
Yeah. Absolutely. Agreed. Absolutely. Right. But, again,
right.
Expecting consistency is wishful thinking.
Yep. All right. So I just wanted to get your take on that because when I heard about the bill, I didn't even realize it was going through the House. I guess I just completely missed it.
Right. Well, because it was bipartisan, so there wasn't a whole lot of controversy over it as far as them fighting amongst themselves. But
did you think when before they do a bill, don't they all go on the floor and have like a discussion about it before they pass the bill? And nobody brought up the First Amendment during that whole thing?
You know what? Generally, yes. You're going to be, the news is going to focus on it if there's a lot of controversy and a lot of dissent. And there really wasn't with this one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm anti-Semitic. You know what I mean?
You don't.
I mean,
I think you're asking good questions.
I think we've proven that we're on the side of
Karen
Cataline, right? For sure.
In fact, I don't even like so much that word anti-Semitic. I think it's racist. Yeah. I think it's just racist. Yeah. You're racist if you're doing these things.
But it's the speech, Ken. You know what I mean? They passed a bill that makes it a crime for anti-Semitic speech, and that I think is where we crossed the line of the First Amendment. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong in terms of what would cross the line. I don't know if that's a completely exact or accurate way to characterize the bill because I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But you're on the right track.
Give me the nuance. Give me one nuance.
No, I don't have the nuance.
Got
this
it.
is what I'm saying. I don't have the wording exactly memorized. I know that it's not saying this is illegal. It's saying this is what's defined as, this is how it's defined, and if this is going on in this institution, on this campus, in this organization, then you may no longer be qualified for federal funding, that sort of thing.
And I totally know what you're saying, Vic, because I actually like it to hear them spout off about these things, because I like to see where they are. I like to see who they are. And so if their speech is inhibited in any way, shape, or form, then they go underground.
Yeah. And the media has stretched the Constitution and the First Amendment so far, because we talk about it all the time on this show, Susie, the fine line between the freedom of the press and just out and out lying and no accountability for it, and I just don't know where to go. I just feel like the Constitution is being tested every day, and I don't think we need to test it that hard.
Oh, it's definitely being tested every day. But I mean, the good thing is that it was set up and framed in such a way that it's thankfully, at least thus far, withstood the test.
Yeah. And again, I'll say, I don't want anybody to say, kill the Jews. I don't want anybody to.
Well, no.
They're a step away from having a white or a Palestinian water fountain, and a Jew fountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, we're so close to that right now on a college campus.
No, absolutely. I guess where some of the misconception is coming in is people think that this law then makes it illegal to say what you just said.
Oh.
It's not that it makes it illegal. It's that it makes it it would qualify as discrimination under the Civil Rights Act, that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to go to jail for it, but you're violating the Civil Rights Act if you're this entity or organization that's employing that language.
Unless you're a conservative.
Right, of course.
Even then.
It's one of those nuances you speak of. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So are you on for Tim again today?
I am.
Perfect.
I am.
All right. We'll be hearing you with Chris then in between 4 and 6 o'clock today. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at redstate.com, and also, of course, our great friend, Smoozy Q on Twitter. Thank you, Susie.
Thanks, guys. Have a great Friday.
You too. Susie, happy Friday.
It's Friday!
All right. Couple of stories I want to talk about, Ken, when we get back. One is another whistleblower on the same story has suddenly passed away.
Yeah.
And the other story is it'll astound people. And I don't know why they did this, but I'm glad they did. Rasmussen polled people, likely voters. Do you think there will be a civil war in the next 5 years? The results may shock you. I hate to do that. I hate to use that tease, but it may shock you.
Yeah.
All right, that's all coming up next on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Okay. Your house, right? Your biggest investment that you make in your entire life. There's a very important part of that investment, and that's the roof, okay? If anything goes wrong with that roof, you're going to want experts. You're going to want people you can trust. You're going to want people who are going to do a good job, and people that you'll be able to find after the job is done. Is there anything worse than getting something done on your house like the roof, and then the people that did it, you can't find them anymore? That happens a lot with Goober Roofing. So you don't want to go with Goober Roofing. You want to go with Conner Roofing, CONNER roofing.com, because they'll give you an honest estimate. They'll give you quality work, and they also have great customer follow-up. They'll get in touch with you. You won't have to worry about getting in touch with them and will they answer the phone. They'll call you before you call them. And you tell them exactly how it went, and they will appreciate that for sure. AAA rated with the Better Business Bureau. Go to Google Reviews and see some of the unbelievably great reviews for Conner Roofing. They're at ConnerRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com.
Libs and never Trumpers. Do you wake up every morning to the ringing of Trump's voice in your head?
And we will soon be a great nation again.
Please go away.
If this describes you, you may suffer from moderate to severe Trump derangement syndrome, or TDS. This is a sad way to live, but there is hope. New MAGA Strength Trumpinol. With Trumpinol, you'll back the blue, lower taxes, believe in the First and Second Amendments again, and who knows, maybe even admit that Trump is your president.
I used to wake up in the morning with the sounds of the orange man screaming in my head. But ever since taking Trumpinol, the voices have gone quiet, and I can sleep again. Most of the time.
Magadonian approved.
I had it really bad, so I take the Ultra Maga Trumpinol with extra Kofifi. And now, instead of calling him criminal, I kind of like the bastard.
Feel great again with new Trumpinol. Side effects may include the desire to become pro-life, question the media, defund Ukraine, support Israel, wave the American flag, celebrate the 4th of July, close the border. Ask your doctor if Trumpinol is right for you. Make yourself great again with new Trumpinol.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
NewstalkSTL.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
The name's Francis Sawyer, but everybody calls me Psycho. Any of you guys call me Francis, and I'll kill you. And I don't like nobody touching my stuff, so just keep your meat hooks off. If I catch any of you guys in my stuff, I'll kill you.
On NewstalkSTL.
Home buyers beware. Mortgages are getting more expensive. One day after the Fed left interest rates unchanged, the average rate on a 30-year mortgage jumped to more than 7.2%. That's the highest in more than 5 months. And this comes at a bad time for buyers. More than a third of all home sales each year come between March and June.
Huh. Did you know that little stat? Most homes are purchased in between May and June, or April and June.
That's when we started. Yeah, that's when we originally
Is
did.
that right?
21 years ago, yeah.
I'll be damned. Okay, couple stories I think we have to talk about here, Ken, because I think they're both very important. One of them being another whistleblower at Boeing died mysteriously. His name was Joshua Dean. He was in Wichita. He's from Wichita, Kansas. He worked as a quality auditor at Spirit Aerosystems' flagship manufacturing site, which supplies Boeing with various plane parts, including the door plug that popped off an Alaskan Airways flight, forcing a rough landing in January. Dean, who held a degree in mechanical engineering and had decades of experience, was among the first whistleblowers to claim that Spirit had turned a blind eye to defects on the controversial airliner. So he died suddenly this past Tuesday, several weeks after Boeing whistleblower John Barnett supposedly killed himself after also whistleblowing against Boeing. Ken, I don't know what to say. You know, I mean, it's not. Is it coincidence? Is it crazy coincidence that the guy who the first guy that supposedly killed himself, that he killed himself after he testified? Like, he could have killed himself any time in history before that, right?
Right.
Joshua Dean, who had some kind of crazy infection, and then
it was a really weird, fast-moving infection, and family members are completely misunderstanding how it happened.
And he died like that.
Yeah.
You know, he could have got that at any time in his life, but he just happened to have it right after he testified as a whistleblower. This is like, I don't remember the lady's name. She testified and she died in a car accident. I think Julia Roberts played her in the movie. Karen, I don't remember. But I don't know. I mean, it's when are we going to say, hey, that's weird? How about Dorothy Kilgallen? Had all this information about the JFK assassination she was going to put in a column in the newspaper. She dies suddenly in a bed where she doesn't sleep. It wasn't her bedroom. She wasn't dressed in any sort of bedtime attire. I mean, this is not new, is what I'm saying.
All I know is if I were a Boeing employee.
Silkwood. Karen Silkwood was her name.
Oh, okay.
And the movie Silkwood.
Yeah.
I think Julia Roberts played her.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
No. But if I was an employee at Boeing and I had some information, I'd keep it to myself.
Right, but is that right?
No, that's not right.
I mean, now, if you're a whistleblower, here's what you got to do. When you're a whistleblower, you got to come in with a group of mafia
army,
right? Bodyguards,
yes,
who walk you into the building, walk you home, have a couple of them stay in your house, because it's so ridiculous that citizens are afraid to blow the whistle on things that are going on. We all saw the door come off the plane. We saw the wheel come off the landing gear on one plane. I'm never flying again. I got news for you. I don't care. If I got to go to Europe, I'm driving.
And I don't know how, and I agree with that. I don't know how many people feel the way I do right now. We were actually planning, my wife and I, to fly within the next year to go somewhere. And I don't want to. I mean, I'm one of those people that doesn't fly a lot, but when I do, I kind of like to scope everything out. I'm a little leery about it. But now I don't want to. I'll drive. That's fine. If it's across the country, I don't care.
Our great friend Zena Hackworth put up a post. My wife was on Facebook and she goes, "What's wrong with Zena? Is everything okay? She's asking for prayers." I said, "She's taking a flight. That's all." Pray my flight makes it safely. So somebody just happened to make a quick comment. This is not an official chat box check, but I couldn't resist this one. Mary says, "No such thing as a coincidence. Was Hillary in the vicinity?" Could be.
Good
Mary.
point. Good point.
Could be. Okay, so another thing that, I don't know. Maybe it didn't shock me. I don't know. But let's just give you the stats, okay? The latest Rasmussen Reports national telephone and online survey finds that 41% of likely U.S. voters believe the United States is likely to experience a second civil war sometime in the next 5 years, including 16% who consider such a scenario very likely. So that's really 57% of this people in this poll think we're going to have a civil war.
Yeah, and I think they really need to go a lot deeper with questions on this whole thing, because under whose administration do the people start feeling that way? I think it's under the Biden administration.
Oh, of course it is.
The division that Barack Obama created between 2008 and the end of his presidency is amazing. People are looking back on it and seeing it now, but when we were in it, he could talk about a professor that's being arrested by police. He can call the police whatever he wants, scumbags or whatever he wants. But when it's something that doesn't favor his agenda, well, I have to keep quiet because it's an ongoing investigation.
Ken, are you talking about when the police acted stupidly?
Yes,
that story.
When they acted stupidly.
So just a quick recap on what that story is all about. A professor at Harvard was going home. He was at his own home,
right?
But he didn't have his keys,
right?
So the police came. He had no ID on him either, which is weird,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Who are you? Oh, I live here. I'm a professor at Harvard. Well, can you prove that to me? No. Okay, well, let's go downtown and then we'll figure out where it's going on.
Which, as a homeowner, I would be really, really happy about.
Yeah. But the police are stuck, right? The police, and they didn't get stuck on their own accord. They're stuck if they don't do anything because, you'll just let some guy break into a black man's house,
right?
Or if they bring him down, you're prejudiced against black people because, you know what I mean? So the police were stuck. But Obama had to say the police acted stupidly. And, that right there could be the catalyst, the one thing that started the hatred of police in this country.
Yes. It doesn't take much for the leader of the free world to say something, and then people emulate it, and then it grows from there, like a cancer.
So are you hip, Ken, to this movie called Civil War?
No, I don't want to watch it because I think isn't that the one produced by the Obamas?
I don't know. Can you look that up
I have to
for
look
me?
it up, yeah.
Just go to IMDb and type in Civil War. Well, if it is or if it isn't a left-leaning thing, and I guess I should know, and I apologize that I don't, but I don't think the Civil War will be white against black in this country. I think it'll be left against right.
Yeah, I think it'd be more American citizen against government, to be honest with you.
Well-armed militia. That's why the Second Amendment was put in place.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be black against white.
I don't think so
simply
at
because
all.
you've got so many people who are on both sides.
Exactly right.
You really do.
I think it's left against right because the left is making it harder and harder to just exist and live in this country with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the right are just constitutionalists, I guess, if that makes sense. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm crazy talking out of class, but there's a lot of people that think there will be a civil war. And this doesn't say, by the way, this doesn't break it down or extrapolate who's a Republican, who considers themselves as a Republican in the results of this poll, or a Democrat or a conservative or a liberal. It just says that 41% believe there will be a civil war. 49% don't think another civil war is likely. But the 16 that said that they think it very likely adds up to 57%. And the other is, well, I guess more, 69%. But, wait, is that it up to 100, what I just said? I don't think so. There's something wrong with these numbers, Ken.
Well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just, And
another 10% are not sure. How many percentages can you have in a group of people? Anyway, did you find the movie?
Yeah, but it doesn't say anything about producers or...
On IMDb, it doesn't say that?
I'm sure it does, but Vic, we're on the air live. I can't just keep looking.
Yes, you can. I can do it. You want to see me do it?
Yeah, I want to see you do that, actually.
All right,
there's another movie called Leave the World Behind, and I know that's produced by the Obamas. They're a part of it anyway. And I've tried to watch it twice, and both times I fell asleep, so I'm not sure if that's even a good movie or not.
So
but, yeah.
it was directed by Alex Garland, whoever he is. It stars Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney.
Right.
I mean, I don't see any left-leaning names in there, but that's the director and the writer, Alex Garland. I don't know who he is. Let's look him up. Alex Garland is an English novelist, screenwriter, film producer, and director. He's best known for his films Ex Machina and Annihilation. Garland's other works as a writer include The Beach, 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Never Let Me Go, and Dread. He is also the co-writer on the video game Enslaved Odyssey, whatever that means. So I don't know, but I'd like to see it and find out, right? And then we'll make a determination on who made it, because that's all you're gonna have to do, Ken, is watch it and you'll know exactly who made it.
And that's true. And that's why I'm watching Leave the World Behind, because you and I and people who are listening to this show will know right away who it was made by. Okay,
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people out there who won't, Vic. They're going to see this Civil War movie, and if it is really left-leaning and wanting to, how they want to change history and all that,
right.
then they're not going to see that. They're just going to say, oh, wow, I didn't know that was happening then. That's the problem that I have with all these things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you're supporting them more if you go to the movie theater, I believe. It's just me.
Yeah.
I'll wait till it gets on cable or Netflix to watch it, or I won't watch it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think that if we watch it, we'll find out exactly who made it, why they think there'll be a civil war, and what the heck's going to happen, Ken. It's not going to be pretty, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Do we have to remind everybody how many people died in the first Civil War?
Right.
And don't forget, World War I was just a war before there was World War II, right?
Right.
So the Civil War has just been a war in our lifetimes until there's another, then it's Civil War I, Civil War II.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Crazy. All right, when we get back, the wheel of audio clips on 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Columbo and Katie.
After a day in court, Trump delivered pizzas to New York City firefighters, and you got to give it to the guy. He knows optics. We'll talk to Ken Williams about this on Friday.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Let me tell you what will improve the security, the beauty, the energy efficiency of your home. Durable windows from Window World. Mike Ferguson here, encouraging you to call them today, 314-993-1800. Window World uses a double-strength glass that has a lifetime warranty. In fact, that warranty covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. Call them today. Find out what they can do for you. 314-993-1800. Once again, 314-993-1800.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking with Randy Tobler, Dr. Randy Tobler.
I think that it's gotten to the point where everyone has so much dirty laundry, where everyone just sort of covers and they don't want to really expose. They don't want to dig too deep. I won't get too close to your armpits and smell them if you don't get too close to mine, to put it in a very crude way. But I think that makes the point.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary.
Look at the filth and litter left behind by the pro-terror campus advocates. Are these the same folks who also protest against climate change and for preserving Mother Earth? I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
The elites want more control through digital currencies in a cashless society. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I believe gold is the answer to safeguard your wealth, especially if you own your gold inside of a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting SHELTER to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, so text SHELTER to the number 989898 to claim your free info kit today.
Message and data rates may apply.
Young voters in America proclaim to care about two things, climate change and the plight of Palestinians. But take a look at college campuses and you'll see their protests have nothing to do with either cause. These encampments set up on college campuses nationwide proclaim to be Gaza solidarity zones, but in reality, they are little more than dumping grounds for trash and litter left behind by campus activists. Keep in mind, these same misfit folks are also known to chain and glue themselves to benches in the name of climate change and Mother Earth. In fact, some of the Palestinian activists are also demanding the passage of the Green New Deal in addition to divestment from Israel. I think it's beyond clear that these kids, as well as the agitators that have joined them, don't really have a clue what they're fighting for. They are rebels without a cause. I'm Tommy Lahren.
The Wheel of Audio Clips, brought to you by Senior Memorial. Give Benjamin Schaefer a call at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
So, Bubba, if you're feeling down today or any day, cheer up. It's simple. Have someone give you a brand new car. If that's not happening, just listen to Vic Porcelli Show with Ken Williams. And don't forget to listen to Larry Connor's USA at 6 p.m.
Yeah. No, really. Larry's got a great show. And I'll say it all the time. I get trapped in my car.
Yeah.
If I pull into the driveway and he's not done with his segment, I got to hear it to the end. That's how
you have to.
Riveting Larry Connors is. Stiffed us today, though, but that's fine. No, that was planned in advance. All right, Kenny, I think we're ready for the Wheel of Audio Clips, don't you think?
Yep.
Do it!
Wheel of Audio Clips!
It's America's favorite game show, The Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Hodger, very much. Thank you to our studio audience. Oh, ladies, stop it. Thank you. Love those ladies in the front row. Okay, ladies, I get it. Okay, I'm very handsome. Just calm down. Okay, I don't want to incite. I don't want to incite an erection or anything. Right? That would be bad. I mean, insurrection. What'd I say?
You said an erection.
I know. Okay. So what we do is all the audio clips that you hear us play. All right. So you want some inside baseball? You want some behind the curtain stuff on what happens here at News Talk STL? Lingo, right?
Yeah.
When we come back from a commercial, right? Ken plays really cool bumper music, and then he makes some funny Biden stuff, and then Jim Modulin says something about News Talk STL. Then when you hear one of these audio clips, immediately after that, we call that bumping in.
Oh, yeah.
We bump in with audio. And we play some in the middle of segments and stuff. So what we do is, for Friday, we take all the audio that we heard all week, we put it on this big old wheel, we spin it, wherever it lands, that's what we listen to. And I think we've proven that we're not rigging the game because we hear so much Biden.
Right, and if you were really behind the scenes, you'd see that big old wheel.
Yeah, that's right.
Brass and wood and heavy.
Did you use the WD-40?
I did today, yeah.
Okay, then we're good. Can you give it a spin? Let's go. If it were rigged, Joe Biden would never come up.
Right.
But Joe Biden always seems to come up. So why don't we start off with some Trump? That'd be great. Here it comes. Here comes Trump. Oh, Ken, it's the space right next to Trump.
I know.
All right, Joe Biden.
None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple.
Is he talking about now? Or is he talking about the BLM Summer of Love?
I don't know.
I want to make it absolutely clear,
Yeah.
something very clear about all of this. Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting. None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple.
So then he was talking about the BLM riots, right?
No.
Huh.
No.
I could have sworn all those things happened during the BLM.
Yeah. And I think he's probably talking about, he's kind of a prognosticator, right?
Yeah.
Because he's imagining what's going to happen at the end of 2024 here.
So I might go have a BLM sandwich later. Bacon, lettuce, and mayonnaise sandwich, BLM sandwich.
Yeah.
Pass on the tomato, just the bacon, the lettuce, and the mayo. I love mayonnaise.
Yeah, I do too. I know.
Okay, are we ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, spin it. If it lands on Biden, I'm leaving. All right, here we go. You'd think it wouldn't. Oh, okay, now see, I'm a poker player, and poker players live their lives about odds, right? You know Texas Hold'em, right? You got two cards, and three cards come up on there, and they call it the flop. You can figure out your approximate odds just by your cards with their cards, or maybe, the suits. Odds would say it wouldn't land on Joe Biden twice in one Wheel of Audio segment, but I'll be darned it did.
Well, lots changed. A lot's changed in how you communicate. A lot's changed in information, and so much disinformation out there. And it's really and it's hard to communicate even today when you do accomplish some improbable things.
You know what, Ken? Howard Stern just put himself in the bottom echelon of interviewers all across the country. We're better interviewers than Howard Stern.
Well, I always thought that anyway. But
I did too. Now the world knows. For him to kiss Joe Biden's ass like that, in the beginning there, when whatever Joe was saying at the very beginning there, he was like, That's very insightful, Mr. President.
Yeah.
And then Joe would have to look up what insightful means in the dictionary because he probably doesn't even know that. So
what I'm getting from this, so disinformation is what's causing all the issues with him, and being behind Trump is all disinformation. It's not fact.
So let's look at some of the examples of disinformation. Inflation was very high in the Biden administration. That's not true. That's just disinformation.
Right. A completely open border. In fact, no, you know
total
what?
disinformation. What are you doing?
Let's just stop with the border thing because America does not have a southern border. So let's just call it the South, whatever that is. It's no border, so
let's call it the entryway,
the entry
door.
Yeah,
into
for 160 countries. That's what that is. That's disinformation.
Ken, that's disinformation you're giving out. Why don't you stop it?
Yeah,
taxes under Joe Biden were higher. That's just disinformation.
Disinformation.
You know,
be arrested.
The left they just pick a word. They pick a word, and they go with it.
Yeah,
and they never let it go. Like insurrection, like January 6th.
Yeah,
right. Like all the indictments that Trump has against them. They just use the same things over and over again, and people who hear it enough believe it. Tell people a lie enough times, they'll believe it.
When you listen this Sunday to the Sunday talk shows and you're hearing all of the Biden administration officials talking about how great things are and people don't understand how good it really is, and it's all disinformation, and they point to all the bad things that Trump's about, understand that they have nothing to stand on. That's why they're saying all the things they're saying right now, because they have nothing. They can't stand on a great economy or a closed border. They can't, so they use all the other stuff.
Did you see the Michael Douglas thing when he said that Biden was sharp as a tack?
Yeah.
I mean...
Attack. Sharp as a tack.
What? Did they think we're stupid? I mean, even if you're a Joe Biden supporter, you have to go like, oh, God, don't let him talk again, please. Because how many people on the right are like, oh, Donald Trump makes me cringe sometimes with some of the things he says, right?
Right.
But just because he was crass or whatever, which I don't really care about. But when Joe Biden talks, even his biggest supporters must say, my God, shut your pie hole.
I believe that anybody who's saying this stuff, saying that the American people don't understand how good it really is, they think there are some really dumb people out there.
Yeah.
They do.
And those are the people who watch MSNBC, watch CNN. You know, the dozens or tens. How many?
Tens, I tell you. Yes.
Spin the wheel. Oh, my God. Tens of viewers.
The tens.
There's Trump. Stop!
Oh,
Stop!
Almost. Oh.
Does anybody listen to me around here? I swear to God.
Good, though.
It's just like being at home.
It's good, though.
All right. This is actually a young Wisconsin voter talking about the trial, the Donald Trump pay off the whore trial. And listen to he's a young kid. Listen to what he has to say.
I am unmoved. The trial seems to be more of a kangaroo court, and I don't take it seriously, and I think very few people do.
It's not too glaring to me that it would stop me from voting for him or anything like that.
Talking about Trump, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
And that's the fun thing about this is that people who support Donald Trump, who are not sycophants, by the way.
No.
They're people who want our country back.
Yeah.
You know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that's not old-fashioned talk. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They were so smart, the framers, because that's something that people in this country should be able to do till the end of time. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Those three phrases you will never hear from the Democrats.
Exactly.
They do not want that.
And people, even young people, Ken, I'm hearing more and more young people
yes,
talking about Trump and the good things that he did. And here's another one in Wisconsin, and you know, Wisconsin is a swing state, so God bless you, kid, whoever you are. I wish you knew your name, but you wouldn't know your name.
Yeah.
Can we do another one?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be a big baby, and I'm going to say spin the wheel till I hear Donald Trump's voice.
All right.
All right, so do it. I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to.
No, we would never do that.
I'm not going to rig the game or anything. On the up and up. I am from New Jersey. I know how to rig a game. But this is clearly overboard. Well, how about that?
Oh.
President Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump.
And you know that illegal aliens coming into our country under Biden are treated better than our vets. Our vets aren't treating as well. They're not being treated as well as illegal aliens who are occupying luxury hotels in cities. Can you believe it? What's going on? So horrible.
Yep, it is horrible, Mr. President. So horrible. Horriblest thing I ever saw. His right now, his campaign speeches are getting better and better with no teleprompter.
And he's getting louder. Did you hear that? It was overmodulated, actually.
That's because he's getting all excited.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, don't worry. Hold on, he's coming.
remember they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you.
We haven't heard Sam and Dave in a long time, Ken.
No.
And I think we have to hear it more and more as we get closer and closer to November. I say that before we ask the boss. We'll see what he says, but I love doing that.
Oh, yeah, it's so fun.
Because that's how he closes out his campaign speeches with Sam and Dave. Who doesn't love Sam and Dave? If you like Sam and Dave, sit in the corner for 10 minutes listening to some great Atlantic soul music, and that'll get it going.
That's right.
All right. So, listen, this week has been a crazy week because of the things, the visuals, the images that we've seen. And Ken, I know I belabor this point, but I don't think anybody who happens to be Jewish should ever live in fear to be able to walk onto their campus and go to their class.
Should never be that way in this country, ever.
So how are we letting it happen, I guess?
Well, they're letting it happen.
Who? They? Who?
The Democrat. I think the Biden administration, they're not standing up and saying, hey, it stops now.
Yeah.
He didn't. How did he do it? He said, well, you got people on this side and feel this way. Oh, hey, are there people on both sides that have... What? Wait, where'd you hear that live from?
Right. Elon Omar, she said Jewish Columbia students either pro-genocide or anti-genocide. I mean,
How could you be that?
I don't want genocide of anybody.
But how could you be a Jew and be pro-genocide? You're saying, I want us all to die.
Well, what she's saying is the Jews want genocide in I'm going to use the word that's not really a thing, Palestine. There is no Palestine.
No.
But they want all the Palestinian people to die. Nobody in Israel is saying that. That's the thing, Ken.
Right.
They're not saying that. The Palestinians and the Hamas and these kids are saying that.
Yes, they are.
About the Jews from the river to the sea. And I don't know.
Should we do the ending of Wheel?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio. Idiot. Good thing Ken's here, isn't it? Hey, this is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the liberal population. Have your liberals spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. Okay, you happy?
Yeah.
Stop bossing me around. You
All
hear
right.
me?
No, I can't do that.
Okay. Well, can't do what?
Can't stop.
Can't stop. I was going to say I can't bully you around. Yes, you can, and yes, you do. All right. Thank you so much for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Have a great weekend. Kenny and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Monday at 9 o'clock on 1019. I don't know. I'm sorry.
But listen for Porcelli's Weekend this weekend.
Yes, 3 o'clock. Fun stuff. Brought to you by Steph's Pizza. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye. Whoosh.
Again. Someday I'll be able to forget my working days. Life will be grim because the ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't have to say, here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend.
Does your life insurance plan include living benefits, hearing, diabetic supplies, teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones? Larry Connors here. I suggest you call Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Call 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
We have a calling, a vision, a dream, but being one of us requires heart, drive, and unmatched dedication. I'm Officer Jacob Boomgarden with the Springfield, Missouri Police Department. And if you share the same calling as my fellow officers and I do, we invite you to apply. Our next police academy starts soon. Work hard and dedicate yourself to the craft, and I promise you'll see amazing opportunities presented to you. Visit gospd.com. gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
To all our incredible supporters, we at the David Dorn Foundation say thank you. Your 5-star online reviews that you recently posted are beacons of encouragement on our mission to assist first responders. And a shout out to Steve Katraba, who reviewed us with these powerful words. The Dorn Foundation continues to fill a need in the public safety community and thereby to the public. Steve, your words are more than a review. They show the impact we're making for first responders. To read more strong reviews, Google the Dorn Foundation now.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A modest 175,000 jobs added in April. It's a sign that persistently high interest rates may be starting to take a bigger toll on the world's largest economy. Heritage Foundation public finance economist E.J. Antoni tells the Salem Radio Network there was one positive development coming out of the report.
We stopped hemorrhaging full-time jobs. In fact, we actually added full-time jobs. Now, unfortunately, they've still been flat over the last year, so we haven't added any on net in the last 12 months, but we've stopped the decline.
Antoni says the labor force participation rate of 62.7% remains frustratingly low.
The big thing with the labor force participation rate is that it has basically settled at a level far below where it was pre-pandemic. And that's a result of millions of people being missing from the labor force.
The unemployment rate ticked up from 3.8 to 3.9% in April. Also at townhall.com, workers have begun removing a bridge over a Connecticut highway that was damaged in a fiery crash involving a gasoline tanker truck. The demolition that began this morning is expected to keep both sides of Interstate 95 in Norwalk closed through the weekend and extend a traffic nightmare on a major artery linking New England and New York. Donald Trump returning to court at his criminal trial as it enters the 11th day. And this will cap a second week of witness testimony. The former president accused of falsifying internal business records to hide the true nature of those payments. He has pleaded not guilty. Wall Street sharply higher, erasing its losses for the week. The Dow up 432 points. The Nasdaq adding 304 points. More at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A slow clearing trend today in the wake of some soaking rain late yesterday and overnight. Not as warm this go around, but still warmer than normal. Count on highs in the mid to upper 70s this afternoon. We'll be mostly clear tonight. A little patchy fog possible. 62 for the overnight low. Now, most of your Saturday will be dry, but watch for a quick hit of some potentially strong storms from the late afternoon into the evening. It's warmer again tomorrow with a high of 84. Another chance of some showers late Sunday. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't It's vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Columbo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I want to know one thing. Where's the Republican outrage?
Live and local.
And how worked up are you news and political junkies for this one at this point?
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Filling in for Dan, Jim Verdi, and Evita Duffy Alfonso.
Good morning. It is producer Jim and Evita. Glad to be here with you today. We're going to break down everything that's happened in the country. There's a lot going on in the country, isn't there, Evita?
A lot. Things are going up in flames, it seems like.
Evita, if you were the president of the United States, would you think that there would be things that you need to take care of at this particular point in time?
You would think your schedule would be packed trying to handle the turmoil within the country and especially within your own party.
I mean, like turmoil. We have college protests that are out of control on campuses. We've got crime raging out of control. I mean, what else can you think about that maybe a president should be worried about at this particular time?
An inflationary economy, sending billions of dollars abroad to wars that are, trying to play both sides as people are really upset about your handling of them. And literally, it's a public relations disaster. Meanwhile, people can't afford their groceries and the campuses are up in flames. It's crazy.
Well, I am sure that the president that we have in office right now is on top of all those things. Let's see what's going on with President Biden today.
Welcome to Today in Joe Biden, your extremely detailed up-to-the-minute rundown of the myriad things the president is doing today.
Friday, May 3rd, 2024.
12:30 p.m., the president and vice president receive the president's daily brief. 4:30 p.m., the president presents the Presidential Medal of Freedom to individuals who have made exemplary contribution to the country. 6 p.m., the president departs the White House en route to Wilmington, Delaware. That's it. This has been Today in Joe Biden, your highly detailed reading of the schedule of the President of the United States.
That is absolutely, he's on top of it, don't you think?
But Jim, I wonder, can he even have the bandwidth to do more than that? That's what we're seeing videos of Joe Biden right now trying to walk onto a plane and his arthritis is acting up. This man is stumbling over his words every time he gets in front of a microphone. Frankly, I think it's a lot for him.
And he has to have people walking with him on the way back and forth to Marine One to basically either be there if he falls or just to hide the fact that he's just shuffling along, right?
Right. This man is clearly not doing well. I honestly, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, I put most of the blame on Jill Biden. I think his family should have come in and stepped in and said, you're not ready. You're not in the right, mental and physical space to be doing the most tough job in the entire world, the leader of the biggest country in the world. and he's really struggling. So frankly, I think that schedule is a lot for him.
I don't think you're going to get in trouble for that at all. Yeah, that's scheduled. I mean, think about it. He starts his day at 12:30 in the afternoon, and then he's on a plane to Delaware by 6. He's doing absolutely nothing today. It's infuriating. But we do have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk a lot about this mess on college campuses. Dan had mentioned it on his podcast this morning. If you had caught it live, great. If you haven't, you can go to Rumble, download it, watch it there. Apparently, Dan is really into who is behind what's happening on these college campuses. There's obviously a lot of money behind it. We're seeing what's happening in New York. Mayor Adams even came out and said a lot of the people that are getting arrested are not even members of the university. So Dan addressed this and kind of got into a little bit of detail on exactly what's going on with this. Let's take a listen.
The chaos on campuses and elsewhere, where the lefties are playing to our principles, going, hey, conservatives, please support all this chaos. It's a free speech issue. It is not a free speech issue. The people financing this are literally the same people who are censoring you. Receipts right away, right out of the chute. New York Post. George Soros is paying student radicals who are fueling nationwide explosion of Israel-hating protests. April 26, 2024. You know, Tony, the halcyon days of last week. Folks, read the piece. Don't take my word for it. You'll see the money trail. Hilariously, that dope Philip Bump at the Washington Post in his, again, the endless litany of face plans tried to debunk this story. And I'm not even going to show it because it's so dumb. And inadvertently, in his own Washington Post story, confirms that there's a money trail between Soros groups and these people. So George Soros, no friend to us, no friend to free speech, is financing this. Why? Why would George Soros be financing campus chaos? Because of my Walking Dead theory. Liberals like George Soros want to break down the United States by any means necessary. They want to make sure that we walk into the prison voluntarily, just like in The Walking Dead, where they try to escape the zombies, and we lock ourselves up. And chaos is the best way to do it because people just want it to end. But look, Washington Examiner. Gabe Kaminsky, who did amazing reporting on this. This is just December of 2023, not that long ago. George Soros flooded big tech censorship presser group with millions during midterm elections. Folks, it's the same guy. It's the same dude. I can't emphasize to you enough, without beating this thing to a pulp, that the same people trying to censor us are the ones fueling these campus protests. They understand you have principles. The left, that is. Tony, this doesn't make sense, Tommy, but this is really important. The left knows we care passionately about free speech for liberals, free speech for conservatives, free speech for everyone. So what do? They play on that. This has nothing to do with, no one's arguing that these protesters have, but they know if they use code words like free speech, because we so passionately believe it, that the Soros money train and all these losers, they'll get a bunch of vulnerable people on the right to jump in. Not you, but you'd be stunned how many people are falling for this. It is a scam. It's a scam. Couple more things on this. This is not a free speech fight. This has nothing to do with that. No one is arguing against that. I want you to watch this here just to show you how really malicious and the malfeasance here on these college campuses. Don't confuse it with misfeasance. This is malfeasance. This guy deserves like a box of cookies, man. This is a young black gentleman on the college campus there, and he's at UCLA, and he's like, hey, bro, I got like my GED in prison. Like, I just want to walk around this campus. I mean, I'm the minority you guys all claim to be protecting. I want you to watch this guy humiliate these idiots. I promise you, this is going to be one of the best clips you've seen in a long time. You're going to laugh your ass off. Check this out.
Against censorship. When they try to take out explicit materials from kids' schools and stuff like that, then y'all are against censorship. But now when a student wants to record, suddenly you're wearing masks, you're wearing sunglasses, you're hiding your face. You're trying to censor people's freedoms and rights. Like, man, y'all are a very confused group of people, man. You're free to leave. Is this SJP giving y'all these rules, or is this FJP? You're free to leave. I am, because I'm a U.S. citizen, so I'm free to do anything I want. That's the cool thing about being a U.S. citizen. When you work hard and get into UCLA, see, I got my GED in prison. So that means less than 1% of us will ever get any college degree. I'm getting a college degree from UCLA, the #1 public university in the nation. So I'm free to go anywhere on this campus I want.
Yes, sir, you are. Well done. Well done, amigo. You are free to go wherever you want. We need more of that. Because we're the ones, conservatives, who are conserving the rights of minorities, religious minorities, even LGBTQ, BIOPC people. Yes, they have the same constitutional rights as everyone else. It's us defending that.
That was from the podcast this morning. You want to hear more about it? You want to hear Dan break it down even more? Just go to Rumble, check it out, or download it at your favorite podcast site. I mean, he's right. That we need more brave people. Now, I'm going to give you props here because you're one of those brave people. You were in a liberal bastion at University of Chicago, and you started the Chicago Thinker, which, by the way, I like the title of that because I don't think there's a lot of thinking going on anymore on college campuses. I think it's more just feelings. All people want to talk about is feelings, but you started the Chicago Thinker, and you, I'm sure, had to go up against things like this.
Yeah, I did. And just to touch on a little bit of what Dan said first, I have some friends who are still on campus we're actually going to talk to a little later on in the show. But one of my friends said he's looking at these encampments and he is noticing that he doesn't recognize more than half of them, that it's 100% contrived, that these people, professional writers funded by who knows who, are coming in and creating these encampments and fueling them. So 1,000% these are contrived. I'm so happy that Dan talked about it. And I'm so happy he talked about how these people are actually anti-intellectual diversity. They like to say that they're very free speech. They're exercising their First Amendment protected rights by coming and creating these encampments. Well, of course, encamping yourselves on private property is not a right in the Constitution. You can't take over a part of a campus. But the ideology behind these students has nothing to do with free speech. These kids, the best way to describe them is bullies. The reason that they are creating these encampments is because they're excluding other students who aren't part of the revolution from using part of the university that they pay to attend. This is anti-intellectual diversity 100% of the way. And Jim, you're right. I did experience these left-wing bullies, had many encounters with them while I was at school. And I can tell you part of why I started the Chicago Thinker was from a really horrible experience that I had at UChicago with these left-wing bullies. There is at UChicago, the school that I attended, an institute called the Institute of Politics, which is just a way to get kids politically engaged, this college students politically engaged, and it was run by David Axelrod, who is the former Obama advisor. And they had this initiative with all the college students where they would say on a whiteboard why you voted. And I said, I vote because the coronavirus won't destroy America, but socialism will. And I said this back in 2020, March of 2020, and this got me canceled at the university. People were sending me hate mail. People that I was friends with turned on me. I was called, compared to animals, told I was unintelligent, told I was xenophobic, told I was racist for that statement, right? For opposing socialism. That was why they were so angry. And it made me really realize that these people are not open to free discourse, that they want to shut down people who disagree with them instead of talking to them. And that is the type of people, the same type of people who are in these encampments now. Do not let them tell you that they are pro-free speech, because they have never been.
No, and they actually have people who are organizing these efforts as well. From a Wall Street Journal this morning, Rules for Campus Radicals 2024. A website reveals the planning and strategy behind the current college mayhem. This is all planned. That's the thing. There's a website that's instructing these people to do that. They don't care about free speech. A university is supposed to be where you went in the past, where from the root word university, where you will get a universal education of everything around you. of opinions that differ from yours. And that's just not welcome anymore at all. And that's why they go after you. It's the only thing that they can do. And it's a dangerous starting point. That's the way a lot of movements in history have started. You had, I'm not going to go back, the obvious one, but like the one that I think of that students basically started, which is one of the most violent and deadly, was the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. That was started by a college professor, got together a bunch of these young students, and basically there was a bloodbath in Cambodia, and all these kids took over, and it just didn't end well. It was very disgusting. It ended up in the killing fields. Oh, okay. We got a lot to cover here. I got a lot more. If you want to call, we're going to treat this a little bit like Rush Limbaugh in this old time slot. We're going to do a little bit of open line Friday. Give us a call, 844-484-3872, 844-4-the-USA. It's producer Jim, Avita Duffy, Alfonso, filling in for Dan today on the Dan Bongino Show.
Bongino.
Abortion has remained the world's leading cause of death of fetuses for the 5th consecutive year in 2023, despite the overturn of Roe v. Wade. It's been reported that, tragically, this total is greater than the number of deaths attributed to the next 7 causes of death combined. Preborn is leading the charge in our nation to turn this around. Every day, Preborn's network of clinics rescues around 200 unborn babies. You see, by introducing a mother to her child on ultrasound, the baby's chance of survival could double. 200 babies are truly miraculous, but their work has only begun, as by the time I finish this life-saving message, 2 unborn babies will be aborted just in this country. Will you join Preborn in the Dan Bongino Show and make 2024 the biggest baby-saving year in history? One ultrasound is just $28, and $140 will offer 5 babies a chance at life. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or donate securely at preborn.com/Bongino. That's preborn.com/Bongino.
Dan Bongino.
What do Dan Bongino, Ben Carson, and Bill O'Reilly all have in common? They all have books in the NewstalkSTL book club. Get Pfeiffer here from the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show with Katie Fitzpatrick from Columbo and Katie.
Every day we talk to some of the sharpest, most well-informed, and influential people in America. So we decided to make it that much easier to find their work to keep you in the know.
Just go to NewstalkSTL.com, click the News and More tab, and then the NewstalkSTL Book Club link. Happy reading.
Go to NewstalkSTL.com/book club.
Replacing your roof is always a big deal and a big decision. That's why I want you to call my friends, the folks that we've trusted with our homestead, Eureka Contracting and Roofing. 636-938-ROOF. That's 636-938-ROOF. They are veteran-owned, over 30 years of experience in the construction and insurance industry. They'll replace 100% of your roof, siding, fascia, and gutters. They'll come to you with a personal consultation. Give them a call anytime that Mother Nature strikes you. 636-938-ROOF. Available 24/7 at eurekacontracting.com. That's eurekacontracting.com.
Hello, News Talk STL listeners. This is Marissa Jones with Jones Air and Water Treatment. The Jones family has taken care of your air and water for 29 years, and now we are expanding to take care of your overall nutrition and wellness, too. If you're looking to take the next step towards your nutrition goals, give us a call for your free nutrition consultation today, 636-899-1040, 636-899-1040, or go to joneswater.com. You can be a filter or you can buy a filter.
What's the key to maximizing the value of your outdoor space? Satisfaction. In getting a fence or deck that exceeds expectations with the highest quality, American-made material. And working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. And adding safety and security for your family and pets to play, relax, and entertain. At STL Fenceworks, satisfaction is our core value. Doing it right the first time, standing above the competition. At STLFenceworks.com, your satisfaction is our passion.
Hey, it's Columbo for Capriotti's Sandwich Shop. Capriotti's is famous for setting themselves apart due to their dedication to superior quality and ingredients like slow-roasted, hand-pulled whole turkey and American Wagyu straight from Snake River Farms. That dedication to superior quality is evident from the very first bite into a Capriotti sandwich. Visit Capriotti's Sandwich Shop 7 days a week at the corner of Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill and get more info, including how to impress at your next event with their great catering at capriottis.com.
Always be clear where you get your conservative talk.
Our left groups who are paying for and likely stoking these campus protests today. At least 1.3 million came from two liberal foundations, the Rockefeller brothers and George Soros.
Liberal billionaire George Soros is the largest shareholder of Odyssey,
the parent company of KMOX and 97.1 Talk.
And when he controls what's on the radio stations, he's going to be able to control the mind, potentially hundreds of millions of Americans.
St. Louis's trusted source and number one
for
conservative talk.
This is News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
News Talk STL.
These last few years have not been easy on our economy or the average American citizen. Did you see that story that came out too? The IRS is using all that funding to predictably do what? Audit the middle class. That's a lot of us. Okay, that could be you next. America First Tax Group can help put an end to your worries. Go to americafirsttaxgroup.com/Bongino and get help today. America First Tax Group is a full-service tax company that'll fight the IRS and help put you on a path to financial freedom. Their experts can help you or your business with any tax-related problems, from dealing with back taxes to getting you tax relief you didn't even know was possible. Don't wait. Get in touch with America First Tax Group today by visiting americafirsttaxgroup.com/Bongino, or if you want to call and speak to a tax rep, call 800-507-0466 and 800-507-0466 and tell them Dan Bongino sent you.
The most informative 3 hours you'll have all day. The Dan Bongino Show.
It's producer Jim, Avita Duffy Alfonso filling in for Dan today. Thanks for being with us. A little bit of open line of Friday today. We're going to take a couple of calls. Let's go to Carla right now in Chicago, I believe. Carla, what's up?
Hey, yeah, calling. I feel like saying mega dittos with it being Friday and open mic. But I got to say I'm a classic moderate. There's a whole lot we don't agree on, but I believe in free speech. I believe in women's rights. I believe in LGBTQ rights, and that's why I am appalled by these protesters. And I cannot believe how many of the kiddos that they put in front of the mic are persons of color, feminists, and LGBTQ activists. I've seen multiple transgender persons in front of the mic. How on earth you could support a cause that would execute you on the spot is beyond me. It makes no sense